If you ever leave me, I'll be sad and blue. Don't you ever leave me, I'm so in love with you. The birds in the sky would be sad and lonely if they knew that I was my one and only baby. Sad if you're bad to me. The leaves and the trees would be softly sighing if they heard from the breeze that you left me crying. They'd be sad. Don't be bad to me, but I know you are, 'cause you told me so, and I've no intention of letting you go. Just as long as you let me know, you won't be bad to me. Birds in the sky will be sad and lonely 'cause they know that I've got my one and only. They'll be glad you're not bad to me. They'll be glad you're not bad to me. To me. To me.
That song that you just saw performed at the Tammy Show back in October of 1964, Bad to Me, was by Billy J. Kramer. And Billy J. Kramer is sitting next to me. And Billy and I are going to go back 6 decades and more, back to Liverpool, where Billy J. Kramer got his start and how he found his path through rock and roll history and music stardom. Before we go back there, Billy, I want to show your latest album, and I want to show your autobiography. Take me back to the beginning in a little town called Bootle.
Yes.
Which is just north, about 3 miles north of Liverpool.
Right. I grew up in Bootle, which is a suburb of Liverpool. It's about 3 miles out.
Just north of Mike Pender from the Searchers.
Yeah, he came from a place called Stanley Road. I knew Mike very well.
Just a couple of years older than you.
Really? I thought we was the same age.
2 years older.
Are you with me?
Yeah.
Are you with me? Just like the good old days. Did you scream and shout while the music played? Do you recall the record spinning round and round? I'm still with you. Are you with me now?
Are you with me now?
Yes. Let's go. Let's go back to Bootle. You were one of 7 kids?
Yeah. I grew up in what would be known here as government housing, what they call a council house, in Bootle, with 3 brothers and 3 sisters. I'm the youngest.
You're the baby.
I was the one that got spoiled.
You got everything you wanted.
There wasn't a lot.
Well, there wasn't because of the war.
Yeah, I was born during World War II.
August 18th, 1943.
Yeah.
The war was half over, and we're not yet to D-Day.
No. I do remember D-Day, funny enough. I remember standing on the pavement with my mother, and everybody was running into the street saying, "It's VE Day, it's VE Day."
VE Day, when the war was over.
Yeah.
It's in May of 1945.
Yeah.
That had to be the happiest day in the world.
Well, I was just a kid. I didn't know what was going on. My father tells me, we had an aircraft shelter, a bombing shelter in the backyard, which when the bombers used to come over, we'd all go down in there, and all we had was a candle for light. It must have been terrible the more I think about it. I don't remember that.
Now, Liverpool was the big shipping port, so
Yes.
Hitler wanted to knock that out.
Absolutely. That's why he never attacked the liver buildings, because they were a landmark for the planes coming over.
So you survived the war, and as Graham Nash told me once, we had no electricity, so we had to entertain ourselves with either kicking a ball or playing a guitar that didn't need electricity.
Well, it started up, I had gas when I was growing up. We didn't have electricity. But we used to, in the summer we played cricket. In the winter we played soccer. That's what we did. If the police came around, you had to run.
Because you played it in the street.
Yeah, played it in the street. Then I went to a school called Oral Primary. And while I was there, we had a singing master. And one day he started playing something. And he said, continue. And he walked around the classroom, listening to each one. And he invited me to join the choir. We did choral festivals in Formby, Southport, and Blackpool. We never won, but we did well, and it was good fun. And then we were involved in a pantomime called Jack and the Beanstalk, which is a kiddie's tale, you know. So I remember all that.
So you, it appears, enjoyed performing at an early age.
I never thought about it, really.
What was to think about? You got up and you
Yeah,
performed.
but I always felt comfortable because there was a lot of people. I never felt comfortable on my own. I never felt comfortable when I first started. You know, when I first went out and did shows. You know, I started off playing with a neighbour. He lived at the top of Hankey Drive. And Raymond Doherty lived down the bottom. And I'd bought this cheap guitar from a kid in school who got it and didn't want to take it up. It cost me £3. That was all.
So you stole it from him. Gave him a few
Not really.
pounds and got a good deal.
Got a good deal. And I heard about this guy, Raymond Doherty, whose brother had brought him a guitar over from New York. He was in the Merchant Navy, and he used to sail on the Cunard line back and forth. And I got
That's the same line that had the Titanic.
Yes. Another interesting thing was the Titanic. It was registered in Liverpool. A lot of people don't realise that, but it was registered. The Adelphi Hotel, which is still there, used to be furnished with the same furniture as the Titanic. I went down the street and met this guy, Ray Doherty, and we started playing songs together. And back then, skiffle became very popular. And, you know, we were into Lonnie Donegan.
Yes, indeed. Well, the rock on the line is a mighty good road. Well, the rock on the line is the road to ride. Yeah, the rock on the line is a mighty good road. And if you want to ride it, gotta ride it like a find it. Get your ticket at the station on the rock on the line.
People like that. The Viscount's skiffle group. We were into skiffle. And then I started listening to Radio Luxembourg.
For all that's worthwhile, your radio dial is on Radio Luxembourg.
This is Radio Luxembourg, the great 208, the ring-a-ding swinging station of the star.
And started hearing all these rock and roll people. Fats Domino, Little Richard, Jerry Lewis.
So you listen to American rock and roll,
Yes,
Everly Brothers,
yeah.
and you're singing their songs.
Yeah, I mean, when I started, I did all covers, obviously. You know, I'd never thought about writing a song. But Ray and I used to just play them in the parlour. A guy who lived right opposite me started playing bass. He joined the group, and his brother had bought him a bass. You know, his brother sailed on the Cunard line.
So now that you guys are getting down a sound, you want people to hear it.
Not right away.
No, you didn't take it out on the road?
No, then we started playing at Ray's house. How his mother put up with us, I don't know, with all that noise. But then a guy called Tony Saunders joined the band playing drums. So that was even louder in the house. So we decided we started to rehearse in a place called the Odd social club, which is like a Legion Hall. We started playing there every night. There was just a few elderly people then playing dominoes and snooker and pool. That's all it was. There was nobody in there, but we rehearsed. And then the secretary of the club came up one day and said, you know, you're getting all this electricity. You've got to pay us back somehow. I want you to do a show on Saturday night. So we did the show and it went very well. And we became resident. We played the Osmer Club every Saturday night. And then we came to a point where we said, we've got to get out of here. So we decided to audition for a guy called Brian Kelly. And we put all the equipment on the bus. And we went to, we put all the equipment on the bus. The bus conductor was shouting at us, but we just insisted that they took us.
Oh, this is a public bus.
A public bus.
So you're getting out with all the passengers,
Yeah.
bringing all your equipment.
It was the 61 bus, I still remember that. The 61 bus. We got to Aintree Institute, and they used to put all the stars.
Now, the Aintree is pretty famous for horse racing.
Yeah, the Grand National.
Yeah.
That's from Aintree. So we get to Aintree Institute, and we were just in the dressing room, and that was the first time I met up with the Beatles.
Was that the first time you met them or the first time you saw them perform?
No, the first time I saw them perform was at Litherland Town Hall.
Right after Christmas,
Yes,
1960.
yeah,
The Searchers were there,
yes,
the Deltones were there.
yeah.
Did you perform that time? No, you were just 17.
I was just,
You're just a young kid, yeah.
I was a pop fan, and I used to go and watch all the bands because obviously I wanted to learn something. And, you know, it was a strange thing because there was a perimeter of the dance hall where everybody used to hang out trying to chat up girls, get up with girls. And that was the place, Litherland Town Hall. And Bob Wooler was the DJ.
Bob Wooler.
Yes,
And he became the DJ at the Cavern.
yes, he did. But Bob Wooler said, next week we have a band called the Beatles. And I thought, that's an interesting name.
Who the hell are they?
So I go the next week, and the Beatles were playing with Mike Pender and all the ones you mentioned.
Yeah.
When the Beatles started and the curtains opened, everybody stood for a moment, and then everybody rushed to the front of the stage. I'd never heard anybody as loud as them. They were dressed, you know, bands then used to all dress the same. They'd either have a blazer, a sports coat, a suit, always something. The Beatles all wore different things.
And they didn't move in unison. They didn't move like they were a dance
Like
troupe.
the Shadows were a very popular band in England.
Apache.
Apache, they had a lot of hits. They were back in Cliff Richard. And, you know, I was just amazed when I heard the Beatles. And I remember walking home with my buddies, and I said, you know something? I think they're going to be bigger than Elvis.
Come on.
I did. I really did. I said they're going to be bigger than
You
Elvis.
really felt that.
To me, it just blew me away.
So it's funny you say how they rushed the stage, because in all their concerts, especially when they came to the United States, that's what everybody did. Everybody tried to rush the stage, and that's what stopped a lot of the concerts.
Well, the thing is with the Beatles, that they played songs that nobody else was playing.
Right.
And, you know, people didn't rush the stage until they came along. You know, it was the first time I'd witnessed something like that in a local hall. But I just thought they were fantastic.
And they acted like individuals on stage.
Yes, on stage.
Everybody had a distinct personality.
You know, I mean, seeing Paul McCartney singing Long Tall Sally, like I'd never heard it before. And John Lennon singing Money and Slow Down, all on early covers. It was just, it blew me away.
So this is at the end of 1960, and you're singing in your own group at that point. When did you first get to share a bill with the Beatles?
The first time was when I did the audition at Aintree Institute. Brian Kelly, the local promoter, used to put on young bands who were starting off early, and the bands that were known locally closed the show. And I did this audition for Brian, and I met the Beatles in the dressing room.
You had never met them before.
I've never met them.
You were from north of Liverpool, they were from southeast of Liverpool, and you finally meet them.
Yes.
You're impressed.
Yes, I was. They were very different. But, they were very quick. You could tell that they were very intelligent.
And when you met them, you got along well with them?
I got on very well. I talked to John Lennon about the guitar. He was playing the Rickenbacker because I'd never seen one before. And at the time, I was playing guitar. I had this guitar, Club 60. That's another story we'll go into. But the Rickenbacker, I was fascinated by it. So he said, have a go.
He let you play his guitar,
He let me play that Rickenbacker.
but you didn't know that that guitar itself was going to play an important role in rock and roll history.
Well, that was the thing. I mean, the lineup, there was the Rickenbacker, that Paul McCartney bass, George Harrison with the Gretsch,
That's what Eddie Cochran played, the Gretsch.
Yeah. But it wasn't the same as Eddie Cochran's.
No,
But George had a small little black.
you meet these guys, and you're getting to perform now in the same concerts where the Beatles are performing. Did they relate to you? Did they talk to you? Did they make any suggestions about your performance?
When we did the audition at Aintree Institute, we got 6 shows out of it. And funny enough, I had no intention of being a singer. I just wanted to stay at the back and drink beer and have fun. The first gig I did, I played the guitar, I left it on a stand, and I went in the dressing room. I'd had a few drinks, I felt more comfortable. When I went back, the guitar was stolen.
Somebody stole it.
And the funny thing is, with the Hofner guitar, there was 3 models. There was the Club 50, the Club 60, the Club 40. And there's a photograph of John Lennon, and you could tell what the difference in the 3 guitars was. The 40 only had 1 pickup. And there was a picture of John Lennon playing the same guitar, but I couldn't tell whether it was mine, because his hand was over the pickup.
Did you ever get the guitar back?
No, I never did. But that started me singing. The band says, either sing or you're down the road. And I took up the singing.
How did you feel? Did you feel comfortable singing?
It was a different thing because I'd never been on a stage and performed. I didn't have stagecraft. I didn't know how to talk. I didn't know how to announce songs. It took a while.
And you don't have, sometimes I call the guitar nothing more than a prop for some singers.
Yes,
It just gives them a comfort level with something to do.
yes.
You didn't have your guitar.
No,
You're standing there naked.
and I couldn't afford another.
Right. So you had to become a singer.
Yeah.
And you did rather well from what I remember.
Well, thank you very much. It was very well.
Yes.
Very exciting time.
So now you're going out on the road and you're performing as the lead singer.
Yes.
What are the Beatles telling you?
At that time, not a lot, because what used to happen a lot, we used to do doubles. Where you do a show in one place and you skip off to another place. So I didn't.
Same day.
Same night. Sometimes we did 3. That's how it was. And I didn't have a lot to say to them then. But when I started appearing at the Cavern, doing gigs there, I met them then.
This is after they left the Casbah.
Yes.
So this is around 62?
Yeah. And that's how I met them. I had a residency in a place called the Majestic Ballroom.
Birkenhead?
Birkenhead, it's across the river, across the Mersey. and I had a residency there every Saturday night. And the Beatles used to be on sometimes, but a lot of times. And I met them then. We used to go play 10-pin bowling late at night at a bowling alley in Tuebrook.
So you performed with them there at the Birkenhead, which is across the Mersey River.
Yeah,
And you performed with them at the Tower Ballroom.
I remember the Tower Ballroom. I think there was 40 bands on that night, from what I can recall. And Jerry Lee Lewis was the headliner. And I was just amazed. I just thought, I got near a speaker so I could hear him. And he was a fantastic performer.
Now you're getting into some serious rock and roll. These are the guys who are laying down the foundation of rock and roll, and you're with them.
Yes,
And you're getting to perform on the same stages with them.
yes. It was very exciting.
It had to be intimidating.
It was a lot of fun. And a lot of drinking.
Okay, so the drinking took away the intimidation.
Yeah, a bit.
And you're feeling yourself now.
Yeah.
You can still sing.
Yeah.
You didn't get booed off the stage. But they know what's coming up. The audience knows what to expect.
It was a fantastic. I did a show with Little Richard there. I did a show with Jet Harris and Tony Meehan. It was very shrewd thinking of Brian Epstein, because they were playing at the Cavern, which is only a small club. And he thought, if I put the Beatles on the Tower Ballroom, it's going to bring in a bigger crowd, and they're going to get recognition locally. That's how it came about.
During these concerts, there were times when you sat around and you got to talk with people like John Lennon. Did John Lennon ever play a song on the piano for you?
He played me Bad to Me.
You never heard it before until he played it for you.
Bad to Me came about that. We were doing a week in every town in England, doing 2 shows a night. It was all, the screaming had started, and kids were throwing sweets, jelly babies on the stage. And we did weeks everywhere. So I was in contact nearly every day. You had to fight your way into a theatre, fight your way out. It was a lot of fun, but it was wearing. And one day, it was my birthday, and I was backstage, and the Foremost, Paul McCartney, and other people like that were on the show, were on the stage jamming, and John was backstage, and he was reading the Melody Maker, and he said to me, we just came into the charts with I Want to Hold Your Hand in America. I said, God, that's amazing, John. He said, by the way, I've written a song for you. I said, well, it's my birthday, John, are you going to play it? He said, no, I'll come to Abbey Road. And the Beatles had become so popular, I thought, he's not going to show up. But he did. 9 o'clock, 9:30 in the morning, he was at Abbey Road. He sat at the piano and played Bad to Me. And he played me I Call Your Name, which I recorded before then. That was beautiful.
Didn't you also record another Beatles song before this?
I recorded Do You Want to Know a Secret?
You recorded that a year before they recorded it.
Yes.
How'd that go for you?
Brian Epstein, there was a popularity poll in Liverpool, the top 20 bands. I came second to the Beatles, which to me was pretty amazing.
Wow.
I thought, if somebody fix this,
Yeah.
that's it. So we did a showcase at the Majestic Ballroom, and everybody had to get up and do a couple of songs. And Brian Epstein was there. And the prize for the non-professional was a tour of Scotland. So Brian offered me a tour of Scotland. And I said, I'm sorry, I got a day job, I can't get the time
What
off.
kind of a job were you working in, day job?
I was working for British Rail. British Rail, I was working on steam engines, and diesel electrics were coming in.
You were slowly progressing up the ladder to where you were going to get some serious security and a good future if you stayed there.
I was, but I'd got that way where I was doing shows, and I'd get up in the morning, I'd struggle into work,
Yeah.
I'd clock in, I'd find somewhere to nap, and I was saying to myself, I've got to make a decision here. But I wasn't earning enough money out of the band to do it, and I didn't know what to do. And then this popularity poll thing came along, and I came second, and Brian offered me a tour of Scotland. And I said, no, I've got this job. And I had to turn the tour down because of it. So shortly afterwards, I had a manager, his name was Ted Nibs. He's a great guy. And Ted said to me once that day, do you fancy coming to Liverpool with me? I said, sure, I'll take a ride in there. So we got the bus into Liverpool, and we walked into this restaurant, and Brian Epstein was sat there. And he said, Brian, I can't hide it, Billy. Brian would like to manage you.
You've gone as far as you could with Ted.
Yeah.
And Ted was nice enough not to hold you back,
No, he was a gentleman.
but to give you another step up.
Oh yeah, he was a gentleman. And he did very well locally. But obviously, you know, I mean, he couldn't take us any further than small clubs and ballrooms, you know, around Liverpool. So Brian made me an offer that I couldn't refuse.
What'd you do about the railway job?
That comes later. What happened was I was earning £3 a week, and Brian offered me 50. He said, if you earn less, I'll make it up out of my own pocket. You earn more, it's yours. So I went home later in the evening, and I woke my father up. And he was a man of few words, you know, very old-fashioned. And I said, Brian Epstein, who managed the Beatles, has offered me a contract. What do you think, Dad? And he said, if you don't take this opportunity, you may just end up living with regrets. That was very wise, I thought.
But you got the family support, and that is so important.
My family, they were always supporting me when I was playing in the band.
If they didn't, you'd still be working on the railroad.
Possibly, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm being very sad.
You are a product of what your family teaches you, the
Yeah.
examples they set. And when Dad said, you go for it, son,
Yeah.
you did.
I had this meeting with the boss. His name was Mr. Clarkson. I had this meeting and I told him I wanted to leave. And he gave me this lecture about, what I said to him was this, my parents are getting up in age and I don't want to leave them alone. I want to be around home. He said, listen, one day you're going to have to grow up. You may get called up for the services or something else. I said, well, I want to leave. And he said, well, you can't. We've spent a lot of money training you. And he gave me a lecture, so I went home and I told my father. My father went to see the boss. It's in the words of, I won the fight. It says, my father put up such a fight. And he did. And he just told him, he said, you know, you can't do for my son in a year's time what Brian Epstein can do now.
I swung a heavy hammer. They all stood around. I was trying to split a crosshead halfway on the ground. But it's all right. I won the fight. I started at the bottom. I never forgot what it's like. At 7 o'clock in the morning, I heard Buddy Holly had died. The people that I work with, they all laughed as I cried.
You know, he mightn't even have a job. You can't guarantee a job. So my father talked him around and he let me go.
And it was a decision that you were proud to have made. And then you got back on stage full-time as a real pro, and you recorded, do you want to know a secret?
Brian Epstein wanted to put me in a recording studio with the band I was with. They were just schoolmates and local kids. And we were very dedicated. We'd come from nowhere. We had bad equipment, you know, bad amplifiers, bad drums, very primitive. But we got such a following around Liverpool. We had our own van, better equipment. We were doing very well. And Brian wanted us to go into the studio. And I've got to be very honest about this. They fooled around a lot. You know, they didn't take it serious. And I told them, I said, you know, this could be something big. And the next time I see Brian, he said, Billy, I've decided something. I said, what's that? He said, I'll take you, I won't take the band. And I was dumbfounded because these are kids I grew up with. I thought, maybe I shouldn't do it. I asked myself, should I do it or not? And then I told them, and I said, I'll come back if you want to sing with you. And they said, no, you've got to take this chance, Billy. And then Brian introduced me to the Dakotas, which you should have never have done because I'm from Liverpool, they're from Manchester, and the big rivalry with the soccer between Liverpool and Manchester.
Even to this day.
To this day. In fact, some Liverpool guys have just put a big placard up right near Old Trafford, Manchester United's ground, and it says on it, 37 miles from here is the greatest team in the world. So I don't think the Mancunians are very happy about that.
So now you're under the tutelage of Brian Epstein, and Brian is going to take you to a new level, and you're getting closer to the Beatles. John Lennon.
Brian gets the Dakotas in his office, and we have a talk, and I left them to sort their own business out. And I went down to the cavern and took them later with me to the Dakotas, and Paul and John sat on the front row, and they said, it's great, Billy, it's great. I think Brian had obviously sent them, but it doesn't matter. I was in awe of the Beatles. Everybody was. Brian introduced me to the Dakotas. We rehearsed, and we went to Hamburg.
Did you go to Hamburg with the Beatles?
No, I went to Hamburg. Gene Vincent was playing. He was headliner, and there were mostly London bands at this time. It was the first time I'd ever been away from home. What happened was I was in a hotel in London. The Dakotas had their passports. They flew out, and it was the loneliest week of my life. I was in London for a week on my own with very little money and nothing to do. It was tough. And I don't think that they weren't very nice to people from the north. That's what I felt.
When I was in London, I could tell the difference in personalities between London and Liverpool.
Thank you.
Oh no. Liverpool was so inviting, so welcoming.
Yes.
London, they ignore everybody, the people.
It's a melting pot. You know, there's people from all over the world, and everybody's in a rush.
Yes, big rush.
Nobody's got any time for anything.
Hey, that's it.
You know, whereas Liverpool, and also, you know, there's a lot of Irish people in Liverpool. It's the capital of Ireland, believe it or not.
It really is.
There's more people.
Lennon, Harrison, all these names. We're in England, we're in Liverpool, but they're all Irish.
Yeah, with great sense of humor.
Yes, and everybody approached me with a smile on their face.
That's great.
I talked to everybody, but they came to me. And they knew I was from America, and they stopped me.
That's
I had my camera with me, and I just met so many nice people.
Well, that's wonderful.
And I'm looking forward to going back.
But you know, I mean, even when I had hit records, I always felt uncomfortable in London. Don't know why. I know why now, but back then I just thought I'm inexperienced. I really don't know the craft. You know, I'd only spent, professionally, I'd spent 6 weeks in Hamburg with the Dakotas.
The Star Club?
Yeah.
You learned a lot, didn't you?
I did. It was amazing to work with Gene Vincent. You know, John Lennon's his biggest fan. Gene Vincent and Brenda Lee, funny enough. She was country, he was rock, and the rest were bands from London.
Yeah, Brenda Lee recorded at Decca Records.
Yeah.
Big in London. Did you ever meet Eddie Cochran?
Do you know, funny enough, I never met, he was my dream. I wanted to go and see Eddie Cochran. I'd seen him on a TV show.
Ooh, well, I gotta get with a record machine. When it comes to rockin', she's a queen. We'll love to dance on a Saturday night. All alone where I can hold her tight, but she lives on the 20th floor uptown. The elevator's broken down, so I walk 1, 2, 5, 3, 5, 4, 5, 6, 7, flight, 8, flight more. Up on the 12th, I'm starting to drag. 50 before I'm ready to sag. Get to the top, I'm too tired to rock. Well, she calling me up on the telephone. She come on over, honey, I'm all alone. I said, baby, you're mighty sweet, but I'm in bed with the aching feet. This went on for a couple of days, but I couldn't stay away. So I walked 1, 2, 5, 3, 5, 4, 5, 6, 7, flight, 8, flight more. Up on the 12th, I'm ready to drag. 50 before I'm starting to sag. Get to the top, I'm too tired to rock.
And the way he moved and played guitar.
20 Flight Rock.
And I had heard that he was an amazing guitarist, so I would have loved to have gone and seen him. But unfortunately, I didn't get the chance. And he was killed in that road accident.
Went too quick. So after you come back from Hamburg, you're really more accomplished now in your craft.
I'd accomplished a lot in a very short space of time. And what happened was Brian Epstein gave me a tape, an old-fashioned Grundig tape, and it was John Lennon saying, "Do you want to know a secret?" Brian says, "I'm going for a record deal. I would like you to learn it." So I learned it with the Dakotas, did it in our shows, and it didn't get a great response, that's being honest. We failed a lot. We went to Pi, we went to Decca, and failed. They didn't want to take us on.
No.
And it was me that they didn't think I was good enough. And what it was, we were still unrehearsed. You can't put a band together and get a large catalogue in 6 weeks. You know, but that's what happened.
Well, you got to remember, Decca rejected Buddy Holly, Decca rejected the Beatles, and Decca rejected Billy J. Kramer. I'm so proud of you.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad Decca turned me down, because I got to work with George Martin, and I got to record the song "Do You Want to Know a Secret?" I went to Abbey Road, and I thought we were doing a test for George Martin. And then Brian called me a couple of weeks later and said, "George wants to put that out as your first single.
Listen, do you want to know a secret?
Do you want to know a secret?" And I was surprised. I was very surprised. I thought it was a recording test.
And how'd that record do in England?
It went to #1.
Number 1.
It was scary, because I mean, I was this working class kid, and suddenly, well, I remember I was in Oxford on a tour, and I was lying on the bed and the phone rang. It was Brian Epstein, and he said, "You're going to be #1 in the charts tomorrow."
So you recorded this in March of 1962. The Beatles recorded it in March of 1963.
Yes.
So you had it out an entire year before they even recorded it and
Yeah.
put it out.
And the first time I heard their version was I was doing a show, and they were playing the Beatles album, and I heard George doing it.
So now that you're #1, the future is looking brighter. It's opening up for you.
It's opening up. I did tours, you know, with people like Tommy Rowe. I did tours with the Everly Brothers.
Chris Montez.
I did with Chris, yes. A lot of different people. Del Shannon.
You're right there in the middle of rock and roll. And things are going to be taking off because, as you said, John Lennon played a song for you on the piano.
On the day John played Bad to Me, he also played I Call Your Name. Bad to Me wasn't coming together. So we took a break at lunchtime, and we came back, and we did I Call Your Name in about 20 minutes. And I said to George, "Why don't we put that out?" And he said, "You sound too much like the Beatles, and you're Billy J. Kramer." So we worked on Bad to Me some more. It eventually came together, and it was my second record, and it went to #1.
You have success written all over Billy J. Kramer.
Yeah.
Now, when did you become Billy J. Kramer?
I became Billy J. Kramer when Brian called me in his office one day, and John Lennon was sat there. And Brian said, John has a suggestion. I said, what is it? He said, you should call yourself Billy J. Kramer. It'll give it more of a rock and roll feel. It'll catch on quicker with kids. And I said, I like the idea. I'll take it.
I noticed that the J is also the first initial of John Lennon.
Yeah.
You think he wanted to have a little bit of a mark in your career?
I don't know. John was always complimentary to me. I did notice that. You know, when I did shows with the Beatles, he'd always come to side the stage.
One time he said to you when you were performing, he said, you look great, you sound great, but where's the show?
Well, that was right, because I didn't have any stagecraft. You know, I've not worked in theatres. It's a bit different than doing a club. You know, in a club you have a small stage.
Yeah.
In the theatre, you're singing to like maybe 3,000, 4,000 people. You know, I wasn't used to it.
It's not personal. You really don't see everybody, but in a club, they're right in front of you.
Yeah.
You're talking to them.
And to me, in a club, it's like touch, feel, you know it's for real.
So you added something to make a show. You got a new attire. You got new clothing. You got a gold jacket.
When the guys suggested that I take up the singing, when I was pushed into doing the singing, I thought, well, I've got to do something about it. It's no use being like, you know, at the time there was a tailor shop called Burton's, and everybody used to go to Burton's tailor as soon as they left school. And it was the same boring style. So I thought, you know, I'm going to go on stage in something flashy. And I went to a guy called Eric the tailor, and he made me a gold army suit. And I painted a pair of old shoes gold. And kids liked it, you know, and I did pink, I did red, all that kind of thing. When Brian Epstein had the meeting with the Dakotas the first time, and I talked to him afterwards, well, he said a very funny thing to me. He said, there's only one thing they want to change. And I said, what is it? He said, we want to put away the Christmas tree. So that's when he put me in suits.
He wanted to change your stage presence, your stage attire.
Yes.
He wanted you to look
He
more
took
professional.
he took me to a top London tailor called Dougie Millings, who did Everly Brothers, Cliff Richard, The Shadows, The Beatles. He took me there and bought me 2 suits. So I had to go out and learn what to do. I'm still learning.
You never stop learning. You've got some hit records now. There's going to come a time when you're going to start touring, not just in England. There's this British invasion going because when the Beatles came over and performed on Ed Sullivan, now you can't forget the fact that President Kennedy was killed in November of 1963. The American population went in the mourning. Everybody did. Everybody stopped. Records weren't being sold. Records weren't being recorded. Performances were few. Then on February 9th, they appeared on a television program.
Well, I think what it was the Beatles brought rock and roll to America.
But they brought it in a new style, and they brought it with a different appearance, in a different accent. They spoke differently, and they came from another country. And they made us understand we can smile again, we can enjoy ourselves again, and we can laugh. Only 75 days after we buried the president, and then it started.
They were very infectious.
Yes.
You know, they were.
They took over. They invaded. They captured us.
The Beatles had so much charisma, individually.
Yes.
And I think, you know, it's like me, the first time I'd never seen a band all playing. It was always the singer in front, or it was maybe 4 singers with a backing band, but I'd never seen 4 guys singing and playing, especially playing the bass left-handed.
That was remarkable. And that allowed them to stand on the stage in a different manner. And of course, when they ended a song, like I wanna hold your hand, he knocked that bass. And when he did that on the Ed Sullivan Show, the studio audience went crazy, and the American public was going crazy, and it was never the same after that.
Popularity poll going back at the Majestic Ballroom, everybody had to get up and do a couple of songs. And the Beatles did Please Please Me.
Come on, 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 please, please me, oh yeah, like I please you, oh yeah, like I please you, oh yeah, like I please you.
The first time I heard it, and they said it was going to be their latest record, and I knew, this is it. This is going to go off like a rocket ship.
And it did.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of 1964, they occupied the first 5 spots in the top 10.
Never been known before.
We couldn't get enough. They appeared in Washington, D.C. at a concert. Then they went back to New York City at Carnegie. Then they went back to England. And then they sent over the Dave Clark 5. They sent over the Searchers.
I'd been to America before the Beatles with Brian Epstein, and I'd done a promotional tour. He just thought that I had the right image for America at the time. Clean cut, tie, nice suits. But really, I think I must have come across as just like all the other Americans.
Until the Beatles came over.
The Beatles came over and they opened the door for all of us.
Everybody.
I've always said that. A lot of bands today would never have got into America if it wasn't for the Beatles.
You got invited by Ed Sullivan to stand on his stage and sing to 70 million people.
Yeah.
June 7th, 1964. Just a couple months. Actually, it was just after the Searchers. The Searchers were there in May. A month after, yeah. And Dave Clark 5, Billy J. Kramer. How'd you feel, buddy?
I feel great, but I always thought the Dave Clark 5 were London's answer to the Beatles. That's what I thought.
Oh yeah, they were.
Yeah.
And who do you like better? People would say, Dave Clark 5 or the Beatles? Well, the Beatles were always number one. The Rolling Stones or the Beatles? The Beatles were always number one.
Yeah.
I don't think there was really a comparison. And if John Lennon and George Harrison were alive today and they were performing as the Beatles, I don't think anybody would know the Stones.
No. Great thing about the Beatles was they had a great catalogue of songs.
And where did it come from? It came from their
heart.
Yeah. You go on Ed Sullivan, I think you sang 2 songs. You sang Pride and you sang Bad to Me. And you were very well received. And then you stayed in this country.
I did a week at the World's Fair.
Oh, that's right, in Queens.
Which was fantastic, And we played there. There was in front of the stage, there was like a moat. And all these kids were jumping in the moat to get on the stage. I did a week there, and then I went to Texas. And I did a show with Bobby Rydell.
And then you got the invite to the Tammy Show. You and the Stones were the English acts.
And there was also Jerry and the Pacemakers.
Oh, that's right, Jerry and the Pacemakers, yeah.
Marvin Gaye.
Yeah.
The Beach Boys.
Yeah, they're all-American acts.
All-American. Chuck Berry.
Johnny B. Good.
The Tammy Show is a historical rock and roll video.
You sang Little Children. Now that song, recording Little Children, because George Martin didn't want you to do it, did he?
I met with Brian and George, and I said, doing the Beatles songs all the time, it's time I did something different. I'd been to a publisher called Franklin Boyd.
The #1 song, Little Children.
Yeah.
But that wasn't a Beatles song, was it?
No, I had wanted to change, and George Martin and Brian said, you know, you've got a winning formula. Why don't you stick to it? And my reply was, the only problem with that is if you get a record that's a stiff, it'll be hard to find another good one to follow it with. And that's why I picked Little Children.
Little children, better not tell on me. I'm telling you, little children, you better not tell what you see. And if you good, I'll give you candy and a quarter. If you're quiet, like you ought to be, and keep a secret with me. You saw me kissing your sister. You saw me holding her hand. But if you snitch to your mother, your father won't understand. I wish there would be a happy little children. Now why don't you go bye-bye? You're little children. I know you would go if you tried. Understood, me and your sister were going steady, but how can I kiss her when I'm ready to? With little children like you around, I wonder what can I do around with little children like you.
I'd been going around music publishers, listening to material, and this guy, Franklin Boyd, played me Little Children. I took the disc home, and I was in a place called Rye in Sussex, and I had a stack of demos. I got up one morning, and I put a demo on, because I had a stack of demos with me. And I don't know why, but I just thought, that's a hit. And the next time I went to Abbey Road, George Martin played me 4 songs of the Beatles, and I didn't like any of them. That's being honest. And other people did record them. And John Lennon even said, if Kramer would have done them, it would have been a disaster. But I did Little Children, and what happened was, they wanted to do a video. So they set up this video in a kid's school, and we were on the roundabouts and the swings and stuff, and it started to snow. But you know, these big snowflakes were coming down, and it looked amazing. So they did the video on that. When that was shown, it sold 78,000 the following day, and went to #1. But I never fell out with the Beatles, you know, because after that, I did From a Window, which I thought was a great record.
And you also sang Bad to Me at the Tammy Show, and the crowd went crazy. And you sang 2 more songs.
I'll Keep You Satisfied, From a Window.
You sang, yeah, the 4 songs, and they just loved you. I couldn't see how you could leave the United States after that.
You know what, at the time I didn't really have any thoughts of it, you know, I just went back to England. My family was there.
Yeah.
And I was doing shows, and it was good enough.
But did you continue to come back and tour?
I came back I did a few tours, yes.
Yeah.
I did a tour with Sonny and Cher. You know, and that was funny because I was like, what's this all about?
I'm thinking the same thing. Billy J.
What's it all about?
Sonny and Cher. Wow. But it had to be entertaining. I mean, Sonny was really...
I did a tour with Sonny and Cher and Paul Revere and the Raiders.
Wow.
I never thought Sonny and Cher would take off, but they did.
Oh, yeah.
They came out with great records.
I Got You, Babe. Oh, yeah, that's a classic. Yeah. So after the 60s, and after the British invasion, well, you recorded a couple of, Neil Diamond, Trains and Boats and Planes. You went to some other, you actually did The Grass Don't Pay No Mind.
That was years later.
Yeah, but you did a better job than Neil Diamond did. Okay?
Thank you.
No, thank you.
What happened was I had a record called Neon City. I don't know why, it just didn't take off. And I had a record called You Make Me Feel Like Someone. What an ironic
Well,
title.
but it's not what we would expect from Billy J. Kramer, including Trains and Boats and Planes, but they sounded so good.
Well, Trains and Boats and Planes came about. I was staying with Mick Green, who was a fantastic
Guitar player, yeah.
great guitar
Oh,
player.
yeah.
But
Oh, yeah. That's a song that Mick,
Mick Green did.
yeah.
He was a great guitar player, and I was staying around at his parents' place with Mick, and we were watching TV, and Burt Bacharach did Trains and Boats and Planes, but it was a choral version. And Mick and I stayed up most of the night and thought we can do a version of it. And
Is this back in Liverpool? You're talking
no, this was in London.
London. But was Mick from London or Liverpool?
Yeah, Mick was from
Oh,
London.
from London.
And George Martin said, how do you want to do it? So we explained what we were going to do. Because we didn't have a lot of the electronics that you had in America.
Yeah.
So we did a lot of playing around with detuning guitars, and we put like a mandolin solo in it, which the Bacharach one didn't. And we came up with these suggestions, and George went along with it, and we did it. We did it with just the crew, and then he added the strings to it.
Okay, are there any other songs you want to bring to my attention that we should discuss before we get to your most recent songs, your most recent album, which I think is great?
I've got a list somewhere. Because I've been thinking of trying to get the rights of these. I did, talk about success as failure. Town of Tuxley Toymaker.
Oh, yeah, Toymaker, yeah.
That was the,
Excuse me. Now put that back in your pocket while we talk about, or sit on it so that it's not on camera. I don't want the camera to see you reading from a list.
okay, after From a Window and other songs, my contract with AMI ran out, and Brian was forming his own label. And he said, would you like to make a record with Robert Stigwood?
Bee Gees.
I'd heard of Robert Stigwood. He was a very successful promoter and record producer.
RSO.
Yeah. So we went through a bunch of songs, and we came up with Town of Tuxley Toymaker. The Bee Gees weren't known in England at the time, but I recorded Town of Tuxley Toymaker.
This is 66.
Yeah.
1966, yeah. Because they didn't really become popular until 67, and
Yeah.
they just exploded. Yeah, that's amazing. You recorded with
They
Bee Gees, too.
did all the backup vocals.
Yeah.
They were amazing. They just came in the studio and knocked it off in 5 minutes, which is great.
Yeah, I only got to see them perform one time, but it was electric. It was just amazing.
Sorry. He wants you to tuck the list under your cup.
The list. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just bring.
He doesn't want you to
No,
hold it.
that's okay. I'm going to zoom the at home. I'm going to zoom the focus in real close so we won't see it. Yeah, because I don't want that seen. I don't want anybody to see him reading.
I'd like it typed out when we put it in.
We won't put that in. You're going to talk it in.
Okay.
Nobody's going to see that.
So then I did a song, funny enough, for Decca called A Fool Like You. Do you know that song?
I remember hearing it.
A fool like you should listen to a fool like me.
Did you record that at Decca?
I did it at Decca, yes.
Okay, up on West Hempstead.
Yeah.
North of, it's about 4 miles north of Abbey Road. And you know what? That's I call that the long and winding road because that's where the Beatles started and they ended 4 miles later, 7 years later.
Yeah.
You know, right there, but they went around the world to get there at Abbey Road, and they walked out of that studio as a band for the last time out of Abbey Road. But you recorded for Decca. How did that song do?
It didn't do anything.
Didn't go anywhere.
I'm talking about my flops.
Your flops. Well, you know what? I mean, we can all talk about flops, you know, but these are efforts you made. What else? What other songs?
Suntan, Shooting the Breeze, and then later on I went back to Abbey Road and recorded Ships That Passed in the Night and San Diego. And then I went over to Holland. There was a guy, Tony Britton and Arnie Travis. They were very popular songwriters. They did, remember the record that came out where they did a little piece of each group that was popular in the 60s?
Oh, yeah.
Well, they approached me about doing some records. So I flew into Amsterdam, went up to the studio miles out of town, and I did a thing called Rocket, which is it was like a skiffle. It was like acoustic bass, acoustic guitar, drums, electric guitar, but that was it. It didn't happen.
But that's okay.
It's okay, yeah.
Not everything you do, whether it's good or not good, has to be the top of the chart. It's still you. It's still part of your history. It's still part of where you travel.
Yeah.
It's still part of Billy J. Kramer.
I'm still proud of the record.
Yes. And a lot of times, I always use this example. If you release a record in the Eastern Time Zone, it sells 500,000 records. You release it in the Central Time Zone next week, it releases 500,000 records. You release it in the Mountain Time Zone the following week, it sells 500,000 records. Then you go to California in the Pacific Time Zone, 500,000 records. But it's over a month, you sell 2 million records, and the guy that sold 1 million records in 1 week goes to number one.
Right.
And you didn't get to number one.
No.
But you sold more, and you may have had a much better record than they had. So that's it. You know, reaching number one and being the big hit doesn't mean it's a great record or it's not a great record.
Well,
So you recorded a lot of great records that didn't make number one.
then I did The Grass Won't Pay No Mind.
Neil Diamond. I said that one, you did a better job than Neil Diamond. Because Neil Diamond got kind of into his, what I call a growling voice,
Yeah.
where he wasn't singing anymore. And the only reason he sang was because Ellie Greenwich pushed him into singing, Cherry Cherry, and he had success, a lot of great success.
I thought I'm not boasting.
Yeah, well, you can boast because it was a great success. It was a
I also thought it was a great record.
Yeah, I did too. And we're the only two people that count.
Then I did Color of My Love, I did Silver Dream, and I did a record with Mick Green again called Staying Power, which was a Neil Sedaka song.
Yeah, you did 2 songs with Mick.
I did Darling Come to Me with Mick. He was an amazing guitar player.
You're still touring, you're still performing. Yeah, I won the fight. Yeah, Sunsets of Santa Fe.
Yeah.
To Liverpool with Love. Start My Life to Liverpool with Love. Billy J. Kramer. When was this CD published?
About 15 years ago. And my wife at the time said, you know, we're going, I was on a plane flying back from the UK to America. And my wife said, I see there's this thing on about aliens in Santa Fe. They have a festival every year.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, I'm booked to do a show there. The date came around, I fly out to Roswell. I've never talked about this before,
So we're talking about it now. I want to hear it.
we get to Roswell, and there's aliens and all these, it was crazy.
Yes.
It was really crazy. I was going to do an amphitheater. I was going to do an amphitheater with Mitch Ryder and Gary Lewis and the Playboys. Well, Mitch went on first, and it doesn't happen very often there, but the skies opened and it poured down. So I never went on. I didn't do the show. My wife said, what are we going to do? You've got some days off. I said, but I was talking to someone and they're telling me about this place in Santa Fe. And we go to Santa Fe. I fell in love with the place. And I used to go back and forth to Santa Fe. Eventually I bought a house there. I used to spend a lot of time there. I don't know why, but it flicked the switch. I hadn't done any recording for quite a while. And I remember I went home one weekend and thought, I'm going to write a song. I'm going to go out, I'm going to buy a new guitar. I'd never been in a music store. I'm going to buy a new guitar, I'm going to write some songs. And I came up with Liverpool with Love, which was a song, why isn't Brian Epstein in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Why isn't he inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Yes. So I wrote that, and I wrote Sunset to Santa Fe. And that was going to be it. But it flicked the switch, and I started getting into an album. And I worked with a guy called Don Salenza on Long Island. And we put the album together. I was very proud. It was the first time I'd done a project on my own, where I produced it and put it all together.
And that's what you're holding in your hand there?
Yeah.
That's it?
I won the fight.
And Brian Epstein did get inducted.
He did actually. There's two versions of the song on here. It's Why Isn't Brian Epstein in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? And I'm happy that Brian Epstein is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
He got inducted in 1995
Yeah.
as a non-performer. But as you said, this guy promoted and produced and introduced the world to the biggest band ever.
But I couldn't understand it.
No.
I thought they'd really cold-shouldered him.
Well, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has made many, many mistakes over the years. Many mistakes. That's like the Beatles, Ringo. Ringo began playing as a Beatle on your birthday in 1962, Humes Hall, Port Sunlight.
Yeah.
I was taking the train because when I went to Liverpool, I didn't stay in Liverpool, I stayed in Chester. And I enjoyed that train ride because we went through all of the places where you performed. And I got off and I went into Port Sunlight, which was built by Lever Brothers. And I went to Humes Hall, where Ringo appeared August 18th, 1962, in his first performance as a Beatle. And to me, that was very important, very significant. I had to do it. So I had to go in there. There was an Indian wedding taking place, and they saw me come in with my camera. But they welcomed me, and they wanted me to stay for dinner.
That's wonderful.
It was. I loved it, and I thanked them for that. But I couldn't stay because I had to get up to Liverpool, because for 11 days, I had 3 hours sleep every night, but I walked everywhere in London and in Liverpool with the camera. And people stopped me everywhere in Liverpool, wanted to talk about the Beatles. They ignored me in London. So. But it was quite a trip, which I'll never forget.
The Television Center in Hollywood, Shindig. And now, here is your Shindig host, Jimmy O'Neill.
Our guest star tonight formed his own music group when he was 13, playing on a warped Spanish guitar and an old tea chest with a string stretched across it. Now, a few years later, he and his group were discovered, and they since soared on to worldwide fame. Ladies and gentlemen, Billy J. Kramer and the Dakotas!
Remember the Shindig music show?
Yeah.
You were on there.
Was I?
Yeah.
It's a long time ago.
It was. Well, it was back 65 and 66. It was on for 18 months, from September of 64 to January, I think, of 66. But you were on there quite often, weren't you?
Well, I remember, I think I remember doing that, and I sang Tennessee Waltz.
I remember that night at the Tennessee Waltz, when an old friend I happened to see. Oh yeah, introduced him to my feeling, but while stole my baby away. I remember night after 10, the Tennessee Waltz, when an old friend I happened to see. Oh yeah, introduce him to my baby. And while they were dancing, oh, my friend stole my baby from me. My friend stole my baby from me.
Which is a country song, and it's a slow song, but we speeded it up.
You did, yeah.
Yeah.
You rocked it.
Yeah.
Let me bring you up to today, because this is the CD. I didn't know if I was going to like it. There's 10 songs on here. And usually, when somebody goes back to the past, they don't recapture it. Hey, there's 10 songs, 5 of which I absolutely love.
Which ones?
Number 1, number 4, number 5, number 8, and number 10. Okay? I'm a jealous guy.
I was dreaming of the past, and my heart was beating fast. Was about to lose control. Was about to lose control. I didn't mean to hurt you. I'm sorry that I made you cry. I didn't mean to hurt you. I'm just a jealous guy.
Excuse me. That's I Was Only Sleeping. Now that, to me, sounds like a tribute to Eddie Cochran. It's like 20 Flight Rock, which I loved, and which I think is your tribute to Eddie Cochran, which is a tribute to the Beatles.
I never thought of it like that.
Oh, I heard it, and that's what struck me. Yeah, go on, girl.
'Cause my heart is going with you. Go on, girl. That's just the way that love has a way to make you blue. Just when you think you got it, it makes a fool of you. Go on, girl.
Of course, Jeffrey's playing on that one.
I was shivering inside.
A Jealous Guy, of course, John Lennon's song, but you did that justice. You took us back to the 1960s.
Well, that's very kind. You know, that came about. I was doing a show at B.B. King's in New York, and I said I'm going to do Jealous Guy tonight on his birthday, and it stayed in my set list ever since.
Always do that on his birthday,
Yeah, I always do that.
October 9th.
Yeah.
And Peace of Mind, you wrote that one.
Yes, I did.
And that, again, takes me back. I don't like to listen to music sometimes when I'm alone, because it takes me to places I don't want to go. But taking me back 60 years and leaving me there, abandoning me, allowed me to catch up with you today.
When I got the opportunity to go to Abbey Road, it was for my 80th birthday. And we had a party. I did it like an acoustic show there. It was fantastic. You know, and I hate to say it, but being in the same spot where John Lennon sat down and played Bad to Me, where Paul played Me From a Window, I'll Keep You Satisfied, all the great songs.
6 decades later,
6 decades
the
later.
long and winding road brought you back
Yeah.
to where it started.
I never thought of it like that. It was, I'll be honest with you, it was emotional.
Yes,
It was emotional.
but music is emotion, okay? We have laughter, we have crying, and we have in the middle, we can control it. Emotion, it's music.
It can take you up or bring you down.
It can do so much. It can work miracles. It can take you places where you don't want to go. It can take you places where you love to go and you don't want to leave. And that's what it does. And that's what I found these songs did, which I didn't expect. But there's other songs on here.
I Was Only Sleeping.
Yeah.
That was written by Liberty DeVito, who used to play with Billy Joel. And I'd been sitting on that for a couple of years. In fact, most of the songs I'd had them in mind.
You've been thinking about them for decades.
I've been thinking about it, yeah.
And you finally did it.
I did, I Was Only Sleeping. I thought it was a great rock and roll song.
Yes, it is. And I didn't expect that in 2023, that it would be such a true rocker. And you did it.
Well, thank you.
I loved it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because I'm hooked on it. And then the other songs on here.
Funny enough, I plotted out all the songs I was going to do. And then Mark Hudson called me up one day and said, we were talking about a song and some ideas. I said, yeah. He said, well, we never got round to it. But I've done it and finished it. I said, well, send it to me. And when I heard the song, the demo, I thought, I've got to do this. It's a great song, and it's a tribute to Brian Epstein. I always try and really give Brian Epstein a lot of credit, because without him, the world may not have seen the Beatles.
And his path was such a short one.
Yes.
I couldn't believe when he died in the summer of '67, during the Summer of Love. It was unbelievable. He was just as much a part of the Beatles as the Beatles were on stage.
Yeah.
He did everything for them. He took them in 3 years. He took them from the Cavern to Shea Stadium. And that was such a meteoric rise. Like I said, often, John Lennon said to us, you say you want a revolution? We answered back, yes. We responded, we did. And that's what changed the world. It changed the way we thought about our political thinking with the Vietnam War. It changed about who we looked for to give us the proper message. And we marched in the streets, because when John was up in Montreal saying, we got to end this war, he ignited a passion in the youth in America that made us march. And they're marching today in the same style about no king.
Right.
People are out in the streets. And we got that lesson from John Lennon.
Well, John Lennon to me was an amazing guy. And
To you, to everybody, he was an amazing guy.
what he did, some people thought the later stuff was off the wall. I thought when John Lennon was... Sorry.
No, that's okay.
I thought when John Lennon was murdered, it's all over. To me, he was. I looked at John Lennon. He was like in the '60s when I was working with him and everything. He was like a guide, like a guide for rock and roll. The people. There was always a bit of John Lennon. Somewhere in a song. And I thought that's what John Lennon.
He was lighting the way for so many people.
And he came back with that record, Starting Over. I loved it. Now to me, that sounded very authentic.
You're taking me back and you're putting me at a time in my life when I could never have looked forward, seen myself white hair, bald. I was always going to be young. I was always going to do what I wanted to do. And
well, we all think that.
yeah, we do. But when we think about the Beatles, that was the time in my life when everything moved at the speed of light. And when we, no responsibilities, everything was fun.
Yeah.
Everything we did was just a pleasure. It was good.
A lot more freedom.
Yeah, we could never envision the future where we are now.
No.
You asked me if I'm with you.
Are you with me now?
Definitely. Because I want you to take me back to Liverpool with that song.
I have a friend called Tom Hambridge who works with Buddy Guy. He's produced some top albums with Buddy Guy. He also plays with him. He sent me the song, a demo, and I thought, this is a great song for the album. You know, to me, you know, when you do an album, I think there's always got to be something that you can latch onto. And that's how I came up with the title as well.
I thought watching you walking through Liverpool was just so beautiful. And you had that young girl with you. And that just meant to me that this is me now and you are our future. Stay with me now. And you guys just went back. Took us back to where it all began.
Well, I'm glad.
Oh, it just brings tears to my eyes thinking what life was like then and what it's like now. Our parents, that generation is gone. We're on deck.
Well, you know, I get people saying to me, you know, do you listen to today's music? Well, I don't, but you know something? It's a new generation. And I always say, every generation has heroes of their own.
That's exactly it. They want what is ours now.
Yes.
This is our music. We don't like it. I don't call it music, but to them, it's ours. Okay?
It's their way of getting identity.
Okay, I want you to show me the video. And I'm going to go back to Liverpool with you right now.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.